but we give it a shot. We have with us tonight Mel Brooks, who will come out here in a moment and try to explain what we're doing out here. And, yeah, he's been on the cover of everything lately. He was in Newsweek magazine, Time magazine. He has a whole interview in Playboy magazine. And he is here tonight, along with Susan Blakely and Holly Lipton and Bob Rosevsky. And we'll return in just a moment. Hello there. I'm getting my Mel Brooks prompts ready here.
Am I right in recalling that wasn't Mel Brooks on the very first show that you did?
October 1, 1962.
Joan Crawford, Mel Brooks.
Rudy Valley and Groucho Marx.
Groucho Marx.
And you cannot pick up a magazine today without seeing the wonderful profile of my next guest, whom I've known. It'll be a week Thursday.
Yeah. He looks best as an Indian.
What?
He makes the best looking
Indian.
Makes
a fine Indian. And Newsweek said, has a cover story. It says, The Mad, Mad World of Mel Brooks. And about his latest film, Young Frankenstein, they said it was nuttier and funnier and more inspired than anything else been done in movies today. Would you welcome, please, the adorable Mel Brooks.
Shane, remember? Brandon D. Will.
Brandon D. Will, right?
Ran over the hill after
Alan Ladd.
Alan Ladd saying Shane.
Meat with fur on it.
Meat with fur on it.
Only good joke in the monologue. Only one.
That would appeal to your disturbed and distorted mind, right?
The guts, you have such guts. Guts. Your suits. Just everything you wear is so crazy, you know. Everything.
Well, what's wrong with it?
Your nose, nothing is good, you know. You know, he's about 23. He makes up his hair all gray to look old, you know, to give it an older appearance, you know, to look like a person, you know. He's a silly kid. He's just really a silly kid. I really love you. I really love you.
Well, you know, you keep saying...
I really love you.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, really, there's...
I don't fall in love with guys, you know what I mean? I'm pretty tough myself. But every once in a while, a beauty comes along and...
It just clicks. Say, hey, that's for me.
You fall. What can you do?
You fall. How are you, mad genius? That's what they call you.
You know, the last time I wore this suit...
What?
I never wear a suit, but I don't like people coming on with Jewish stars and cross and everything. You know what I mean? They sit with chains
too much,
here,
yes.
you know? It's too much. And I hate 50-year-olds who desert their generation. You know what I mean?
Right.
Artie Shaw? Who's Artie Shaw? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They forget.
Sure.
You talk to people. You know, I'm 48. I'm going to be 49.
Am I older than you are?
Yes. What? Excuse me. Yes. No, I don't. I was born on June 28th in 1926.
Oh.
When were you born?
Why? Are you holding a party?
No, I'm just...
Oh,
When were you born?
I'll come, you know that.
Yes.
You never call me. Every time I see you, I
will.
run into you maybe, once every 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
And I see you and Annie walking around the street.
We don't go out.
Reading the marquees, you know.
No, but seriously, we never go out. We're like home buddies, you know what I mean? So we hardly go. But if we did go out, you're the first person we'd go out with.
Okay.
But
October 23rd.
You were October, what year?
1925.
October 23rd, 1925.
Big 50 this year.
You're a Gemini. What the hell? I don't know, what
Here,
is...
I even give you the date and you didn't know. Most
October
people tell you without even asking the date.
You're a Presbyterian. What is that?
I'm a Methodist. Yes, I'm a Scorpio. I'm on the cusp.
You're a Scorpio.
Cusp.
One of them. Scorpio.
That's right. Yaha, come here, little girl.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what they always say about Scorpios. Sexually maladjusted and, you know, cool whip and a spatula. You know.
Cool whip and a spatula. That's not you. That's not your image.
I know it's not.
You're a nice person.
That's right.
Except
Jiminy
once
Cricket.
in
I
the
told
parking
him, you know,
lot.
what you'd said about my suit before I came
we
out.
do look.
I look like Jiminy Cricket.
Wish upon... Don't do that, Pinocchio. Oh, Pinocchio, I'm ashamed of you.
What is it?
The National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences. I went to Dinah Shore's bar mitzvah at the Emmys.
Right.
And that's the last time.
Still in the suit?
And Burt Reynolds made a wonderful speech.
Mm-hmm.
He loves her. He kisses her. He has half a mustache. He had smallpox when he was 3. And only half of him can grow a mustache. So he grows, this half he grows normal, nice, regular, beautiful. This half, they make one to, you know, pow.
Oh, come on now.
Yeah, I swear.
Is this a Hollywood scoop?
No, I made it up.
I'm buying it. I'm sitting here like, really? I didn't know.
The only 2 guys I go out with is you and him. You know what I mean?
Well, that's as long as Bert's in there.
Can I have a sip of this?
Yes, please.
Little coffee that Ed has over there. The king lives.
Are you crazy on the air? Are you Meshuggah? I'm telling you, ladies and Jews, this... Plenty. You need plenty water after that.
Plenty water. Yeah, I saw your Young Frankenstein.
You were the one.
No, come on. You're making a fortune. What are you talking about?
It's doing.
People are queued up all over the country coming in. It's a mad, crazy, nutty, funny takeoff. I don't know what you call it, a takeoff or parody, because you follow the old Frankenstein pictures, his story. It's a horror movie, too.
There was a director many years ago by the name of James Whale who made all those wonderful Frankenstein pictures. He made Frankenstein, The Bride of Frankenstein, The Son of Frankenstein, The House of Frankenstein, Frankenstein's Friend Murray. He made all those. And they were beautiful.
Yes.
And the moves and the look and the halos behind the ladies and the fear. And it wasn't like the Hammer films, you know, that with the little gory, with the blood. You know, he made classic beauty, see. And so Frankenstein was to be a salute to James Whale, as well as, you know, having fun with Mary Shelley's masterpiece.
And you had the original Frankenstein equipment.
Yes,
right,
we had Kenneth Strickfaden. We found him in Santa Monica in an alley, still with things, doing things to himself. And we put him in a van.
And brought him to the...
You can't take him in an open car, let's face it, you know what I mean?
With curtains on it.
And we brought him, and he made up all the, you know, the electrical
It's a funny
equipment.
picture.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Why didn't you appear in that one? Now, you were in Blazing Saddles.
Too short for that.
Too short for...
It's for tall people. Monsters, big, tall, nice people. Zippers.
Would you like to be taller?
I would like to be taller, but I don't want to go through the expense of it. You know what I mean? There's too much, big investment.
And the period you have to stay home alone.
Yes, right. You have to stay home for 6 months.
That's right.
And, you know, there's agony for the first week, you know. the first week of the, you know.
That's hardly worth it. Hardly.
And then if they don't set your ankles back again, right? Harry Rich, the rest of your life, Harry Rich.
You know, I fell down at the picture. There's some... you shouldn't tell some of the things that happen in the picture because it tips it, right?
No, we won't. I don't think we should talk too much about Frankenstein. Let me say one thing about young Frankenstein, and that is Gene Wilder.
He's a funny man.
Gene Wilder.
He is a funny man. Hiya, gorgeous. I don't know what he said.
We were in a lot of trouble, and you know this for a fact. We were in a lot of trouble when we did Blazing Saddles. We had 2 men ready to play the Waco Kid that Mr. Wilder, that Gene Wilder eventually played. Remember what I shoot with that hand?
Mm-hmm.
He was wonderful as the Waco Kid. He shot their guns out of their hands, and he was compelling and touching and funny. And he did it for me one night. You know, we were talking to you about it, and you said, "Oh no, I don't do movies. I'm no good." You know. Remember that?
You did call me. You called me about that.
No,
picture.
but I really love you, and I would love to do a movie with you. You know.
I want to be a member of your stock company now. Now that you're a hit.
Yes, but they.
See, now that you're really rolling.
They get $1.75 a week.
$1.75.
That's why they're always there. You know, they're dummies. Smart people. But anyway, Gene Wilder asked me about Young Frankenstein. He had an idea to do Young Frankenstein. And I said, we'll talk about it later, but I really owed him a big favor, and I began doing it as a favor. But the writing and the comedy and the fun, we put it all, it got very good. It began to get really, really good. And as we began shooting it, it got funnier and funnier. I could not believe that it would turn out good, because, it's Jewish anxiety and guilt. I mean, how could you have such a good time? And what am I turning to you for Jewish anxiety and guilt? Jewish anxiety. Anyway, and it was wonderful. We were having a very good time, and I was afraid the picture would be a failure because we were just enjoying ourselves.
Are you more secure?
But it was
now?
Gene. It was Gene.
Yeah. Are you more secure now?
I am. I'm very. Are you kidding? I get 200 a week from him. Are you telling us to break? We'll come back to.
Was that
what the piano was saying? Is that what it's saying? Why don't you wear a tie, Schmendrick? I mean, there's people out there. All right. You're really wonderful with the race. What do they pay for that? I see that.
We're going to come right back.
I love that guy. He's a little gay, but wow, who cares? Who cares? He's a wonderful person. He's good. He's a church member. That's the most important thing. Who cares? So he goes to those bars. Who cares? It's not our business. That tall one you went home with the other night, that's scary. The one with the with the blue hair, you know. Doc, please. I mean, you have a family. Have a little. Go in a closed car. What are you? Through the sliding roof. The
sunroof.
Oh, it was terrible.
We have to break away here for a second, but we're coming right back. We are back. We're talking with Mel Brooks, director, writer, producer, author, ashtray, whatever.
Yes.
We were talking about Gene Wilder.
Yes, I have a little film clip that I brought to show that Wilder is the one that holds us together. The consummate talent, the paramount epitome of acting. He is a very good serious actor as well as comedian.
The catalyst.
And, yes, the Catholic. Did you say catalyst?
Catalyst.
Whatever, yes. Shut up while I'm talking.
Of course, you're rolling there real nice.
I want you to see in this film clip that we're all ready to break up and laugh, or we're biting our knuckles, everybody on screen. And Wilder is the one you can lean on, a rock. Show, please, show Gene
Watch
Wilder
the monitor.
in action.
This is The Rock.
Doctor, Sarah's that strange music again.
It seems to have stopped the big fellow in his tracks.
That music.
Yes.
That quaint.
All right.
It's terrible the price society demands in the name of fidelity, isn't it? I mean, what is fidelity, after all?
Not fooling around? Is that it? Why, look. You haven't even touched your food.
There. Now
Still smoldering.
let me smell your breath. Thank heavens that's over with.
Follow me, please.
Now listen to me very carefully. Oh, does that include the key to the laboratory?
You mean the laboratory.
Oh, Gene, don't laugh. It's so much better.
Igor, would you give me a hand with these bags?
Certainly. You take the blonde and I'll take the one in the train. Basta.
May I go in?
A rock. Man is a rock. Man is really a
He's
rock.
the greatest sucker for comedy. I mean, he cannot.
See Marty Feldman go? He
Yes,
just went
Marty
out of
went.
it.
Marty. We all laughed. It was hard. One day when we were doing in the producers, Kenny Mars was doing the Crazy German with the pigeon duty on his helmet.
Right.
And he was making a speech, and I was behind the camera eating a handkerchief, and there was the cameraman and the director of photography, and we all fell over with the camera at the same time.
A lot of people.
And I cleared everybody away. You know, I cleared the entire. I said, everybody out. This is professional. No laughing. Let the audience laugh, for God's sake. We'll watch it. Go ahead, Kenny.
On the deck.
Down.
Why do you make this in black and white?
The crayons. We lost all the crayons in the. We had such a big set. No, black and white because James Whale made his pictures in black and white. We didn't want to make one of those,
I see.
dopey new ones,
Hey, this is the third picture, I guess you would direct. What's the hardest part about it? Fourth. Excuse me.
Producers, the 12 chairs, blazing saddles, and Frankenstein, young Frankenstein.
Of course.
Thank you. Thanks, Mom.
What's the hardest thing about making a film, is there?
The holes.
What?
The holes.
The holes?
The holes in the side of the celluloid. Everything, a hole. It's a million. It's a billion. I mean, the acting is nothing. The writing is nothing.
Making those little holes.
But every night. And then you get them.
And then they're all over and you don't know what to do with them.
Over. And then they're in your food, your potatoes.
You started out in the mountains, didn't you?
Yes.
Filling in for the comic who got sick one night and you went out and didn't have an act.
Good evening, ladies and germs. I just moved from Chicago, and boy, my arm's tired.
That kind of stuff.
I met a girl in Chicago. She was so skinny, the waiter said, check your umbrella.
That kind of
But
stuff.
one night, I really wanted to turn the Jews around.
Right.
To do something insane. So I did everything but no punchline. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I just flew in from Chicago. It was a little nauseous. They looked, all right. I met a girl in Chicago. She was so skinny, I was worried.
Very
A
thin.
little worried about her. I went to a doctor. She's all right. I got a room in Chicago. The room was so small. I called up. I said, change the room. I mean, I did every single joke known to man, but no punch, just straight, just philosophy.
This is a bad room. I don't like the room. They changed.
And they looked. They said, there's a somewhere here. Then I did. You know, in the mountains, everybody was over 60. They didn't get things right away. Right away, they did. Like I'd say, ladies and gentlemen, the man of 1,000 faces. They waited. They waited for 1,000. Right? After 5.
They want to see 1,000 faces.
How much? No, I was up. I swear, I was up to about 30. You know. I mean, how many faces? I said, when are they gonna laugh? Oh. I don't lie.
Then you went with Sid Caesar, the old show of shows with that mad, crazy group.
I would have been a comic 10 years earlier, but he was such a great vehicle for my passion. He could do anything. He mimicked people. I mean, he didn't do Bogart, he didn't do Cagney, he just did people, recognizable types. He really was incredibly talented.
He did everything phonetically. Sid had been on the show. You know, he did great phonetic German, French, Spanish, Japanese, whatever.
He's great. He's really, and he's still great. And the problem with television is that it eats you up like little link sausages every week. So it's difficult to stay alive when you're high-powered. If you're a low-key comic, you can stay alive a little longer, you know. But Sid was too much. Sid was also the strongest human being. The strongest... Physically, the golden boy. He didn't like a joke. He lifted the metal desk and the type. I don't like it. He said, okay. No, don't have to be in. It don't have to be in. Right?
You feel it or don't use it?
Very early on, when we did the show of shows, we went to Chicago, and I was writing for Sid. We played the Palmer House, the Empire Room at the Palmer House. And Sid rented a car, and we were driving in the car. Cab cut us off. Cab driver said things you cannot say on television. Sid said, moment, sir, moment. Got out of the car, went to the cab driver. Cab driver wearing a yellow hat and a little leather bow tie. And the cab driver is looking through this little clipper window. Remember those little clipper? And he says to Sid, more invectives, more, very bad cursing. And Sid just said to him, do you remember birth?
Do you remember birth?
Birth. He said, what? Do you remember being born? Do you remember birth? Your birth. He said, no, what? He said, we're going to reenact it. He grabbed him by the leather bow tie and began pulling him.
Pulling him through the little window?
And I promise you, Sid could have got him through, but I bit his hand.
Somewhere there's a very long cab driver back in Chicago to this day.
Yes, a very long skinny cab. He is very, very...
Yes, I remember.
In the beginning, I was hired only by Sid. Matt Sleeman didn't think I was a human person yet. He thought I was the one who ran out and got Sid coffee. Light coffee, but he didn't think I was a writer. So the only things I could do were the little things. Like, they let me write The German Professor.
Oh, well, that's classic.
And so I wrote that for a while. And Sid was terrific at The German Professor. He was an authority on everything. He was, whatever you said, and he could ad-lib a lot. I mean, you could write with Sid on that. He was so great. We did one on sleep.
Sleep.
Oh, on that, I can't do it like, I'll just do a little. He said, what is sleep? You can put the body to sleep. You cannot altogether. You put the body to sleep altogether, it's gonna get scared and get up. you gotta put the body to sleep in little sections that one section shouldn't know the other's gonna sleep. First, you start with the toes. The toes, they drop off. Then you stay with the knees, they put the little caps. Then you say to the belly, don't burble so much. Then you say to the heart, you just a nap. Don't nap all the way, just a nap. A nap. And then the hardest part is the brain, to put the brain. The brain don't want to go to sleep. Don't worry, there's other pebbles on the beach. You'll find them. So you'll get another job. Brain, you're waking up the intestines. Come on. Rock up my brain in the skull. All right, everybody up. See, you woke everybody up. I am insulting it because he really,
No, you do.
Sid was a genius.
I want to come back and talk about your meeting with General Sarnoff, because that was strange.
I can't talk about that on television.
Well, you can maybe work around it.
No, we can't. Nothing.
I see.
We won't talk about it.
Okay. We'll go to something else.
And we're not going to go to something else either. What if you got a nut like that on the show? No, we're not going to talk about anything. We're just going to be here. What do you mean we're just going to be? We're just going to be here, and they'll be here, and the cameras, and we'll just be here.
Sometimes you
But we're not going to talk. We don't have to talk. They'll know and we'll know.
I've had once in a while you get that. You've got to say to a guy, some actor, you say, I understand an amusing thing happened to you in Chicago.
I don't remember.
No, I don't recall that.
And then he looks to Freddie. He says, why did you book him? Why is he here? Get the hook. All right, I know.
We'll be back. We're coming right back. The king lives. I guess we can't talk about the late General Sarnoff.
Sure. You want to hear that story? Sure, I'm very mercurial.
Well, General Sarnoff, these people don't know, but he's the father of Robert Sarnoff, he's now deceased, but he was the grand man who formed the whole Radio Corporation of America.
I think he, together with Lee DeForest, invented,
they were responsible for everything happening.
He was a giant of a man. I mean, he really was. And when I was a little kid working on the Show of Shows, the general himself, General Sarnoff, and Pat Weaver, was then running the NBC network, and Max Liebman, God bless him, the producer of the Show of Shows, a terrific guy, and Sid Caesar were having a private meeting in Sid Caesar's office. And I wanted to be part of the meeting. They're all the big shots, and I said, look, I won't make noise. I'll sit in the corner. You can't be. It's a meeting with big shots. You're nothing. You're dirt. Get out. I said, please. So they wouldn't let me in. I went nuts. I ran around. I saw a derby, a straw. Remember those straw boaters? The wonderful, they had a little wire on them, a little straw. And a white duster. You know a duster?
Yeah.
From one of the sketches. Carl Reiner used to wear the white duster a lot. So I took the white duster. He was that way for a while. So I took the white duster and the straw boater, and I burst through into it had a big network meeting. I jumped on the desk. I jumped up on the desk, and I said, Lindy landed. He's in Paris. He made it. And I threw my hat out the window. And the general, Pat Weaver, who is this crazy kid? What, Lindy? That was 30 years ago. What happened? And so Liebman said, Mel, please. And I said, he's in Paris. The Spirit of St. Louis down Le Bourget landed. Lindy. So they threw me out. They threw me out. 2 years later, I'm walking at the top floor of the RCA building, and General Sarnoff was walking with another guy with vests and chains and everything, and they're walking and talking, and he nods to me, I nod to him, walk. At the end of the corridor, he turns, I stop, I turn around, he turns around, and I see him doing, Lindy landed. He's in Le Bourget, he did the whole was explaining me.
He's a grand old man.
He never forgot, you know.
How would you forget that?
Yeah.
Lindy.
Nice man like that, and you on the desk.
Yeah, what about the person in the street when a straw hat came? You know what I mean, walking
Hey,
by.
may I ask you what this is?
This.
Since it's obviously just a piece of board.
Yeah, it's.
You're not just hawking a piece of board,
No,
are
it's
you?
a
I know
new-
when you're successful, you can sell anything, but a piece of board with a thing on it.
No, that's a record. It's a new concept.
There's no record in here.
No, you don't need the record.
Why's that?
No, you put this down, and so it plays. So, actually,
At any speed you choose, I suppose, yes.
actually, I'm glad you're plugging it. This is coming out this week. People are interested in whether.
Am I holding it
Yeah,
wrong?
people
What is this? What is this all of a sudden? Where are you going, man?
I'm really crazy about it, but you know, I can't really communicate with him.
Hi, gorgeous. What? Is this a musical album from Young Frankenstein?
The only thing
I don't remember any music in Young
There's a
Frankenstein.
lot. There's
very little.
Well, there isn't too much music, but there's a lot of funny dialogue, and that's the only point I wanted to
Oh,
make.
I see.
It's music and dialogue.
And dialogue.
It's on ABC Records.
you get really two
and
for the price of
GRT
one.
Musical tape. It's very good. It's like a little radio show.
I see.
You play that at home, and then you get very excited to see the movie or to see Murray the Freak. Either one. I'm not sure.
Whatever does it to
Depends on
you.
you. He's in apartment 3A in Wilshire Boulevard.
Yeah. How do you answer people who said, now you've gotten comments from critics said Mel Brooks' humor is crass, right?
Yes,
It's,
I go.
It's vulgar. It's vulgar.
I usually. I answer them like that.
Well,
I tell.
you've always been a
I
master.
deny. I always deny. You know.
You've been a master of innuendo all your life. And you don't think he's clever, huh? Huh? Don't think that's genius? Folks, I'll tell you, show you genius.
Innuendo.
Man knows what he's talking
I like
about.
subtle. I don't like to be right up front. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I like to lay back and play it purple. You know what I mean?
That's
Soft colors. You know?
That's right.
There's nothing yellow and orange about me. You know? Never.
Right to the point.
The bean sequence in Blazing Saddles, quiet. You know what I mean?
That's right.
It's communication on the prairie. You have to look at it intellectually. You can't look at things with your nose. You know what I mean?
How do you figure out, since comedy is subjective, right? You'd agree to that. How do you know what's funny when you put something together? You know you could do a symposium on comedy, which usually turn out to be terribly dull.
Well-
Anytime you try to explain why something is funny, it's dull, right?
You want me to, seriously?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. Those ought to be up by April. That's right.
That seriously, I would have given you a serious answer.
Well, I'll do it. I'd like a serious answer tonight. Mr. Brooks cleverly retorted.
Yes.
All right. Look at that.
You know comedy is funny when they're laughing. When it's quiet and you see a little forest fire, cigarettes, in the middle of a good comedy, you
That's
know?
wrong.
A lot of people lighting up, you know? You know something is wrong on the silver screen.
Right, so-
And you have missed the comic target by a mile.
So when you hear laughter,
When you hear laughter, you go, ah!
funny.
They got it.
Right.
They got the joke, right.
Well, that's...
But I'll tell you seriously that the Blazing Saddles was a very big private joke for me and the writers.
Mm-hmm.
We did it with Richie Pryor and Norman Steinberg and Alan Huger and Andrew Bergman. And we thought, let's do one movie to please ourselves.
I understand when you
Not
first
for the
showed it,
public.
though, to the executives in a screening room, they sat there like Mount Rushmore. It was...
I tell you, I don't know why my heart is beating today. The blood left me and went into my friend Benji. That's how scared I was. We played Blazing Saddles for the executives of Warner Brothers who shall be nameless. Ted Ashley, John Kelly.
Easy there. Easy there.
As a matter of fact, I love them both, and they both saved the
you.
picture because
Oh,
they
I
were
see.
big fights, and they pushed it through. But they watched, you know, these are clinicians, these are professional people. They're not laughing like Jews for happiness, you know what I mean?
Right.
They're not, or Germans for killing. They're just, you know what I mean? They're just enjoying their craft. So it's
Right.
not important for them to laugh. They're saying, will this make money? Should we release it? Should we put advertising? You know, they're all
Tomorrow's
watching.
Tuesday.
And this is
Big
Blazing
Tuesday.
Saddles. And they're saying to Cleavon Little, how about a work song, you know? And he sings, I get no kick, you know, and no laugh. No laugh. The bean scene on the nothing. And interesting. And that cowboy bent over a little too much. And then the whole fight when we pull back and reveal the world. You know, when
Right.
Mongo went to the fire. I saw Johnny Carson at the Fox Wilshire Theater sitting with a very strange... No, that was your wife.
That was my wife, Joanna.
And he left his seat and went under 2 aisles when that manga went into the fire. Really left.
Leaned over to light the cigar into the fire.
In that screening, there was no laugh, and I was just, ice.
So it shows you it's all relative.
No, so I said to Mike Hertzberg, the producer, let's try human beings. So that night we got...
Persons, really.
200 secretaries came with their husbands and their girlfriends, their boyfriends, and they all packed in together to a room at Warner Brothers, and we played Blazing Saddles, and it was a Chagall painting. They left their seats, they swam, they turned over sideways, they laughed, they were screaming. I said, ah! Oh, we did not make a mistake. It is funny, you know what I mean?
Right.
But it was very scary at the beginning. And then, little by little, it turned out to be a very big... When they play music next time, he's finished. He's finished because he has to do that with
We
the
have
pencils.
to leave.
Very nervous.
But we're coming right back.
Okay. Can I do this? No.
When you were a kid,
The skinny ends are better. The fat ends just save the sticks, you know what I mean? Right. Yeah, okay.
we were...
If you play the front ends, you take a big chance, you know?
Right. We're talking about drumming, because you took lessons when you were a kid from
yes.
Buddy Rich.
Yeah.
Right, you live in the same neighborhood.
In Brighton Beach. He's the best. Buddy, right? Buddy. Tops and taps.
Tops and taps.
And you're a very good drummer. You
Oh,
really
no,
are.
I just fool
You
around
have
here.
time, you have tempo. You just have very weak wrists. No offense.
I found out when I was very young, I did, yes.
And no timing, but that's all right.
But I make up for it because I have my drum lights up, bass drum,
But
with a
the
mountain
only
on it.
thing that you make up for it is that you know Mel Lewis. Otherwise, forget about it.
True.
Yeah. Just for the band. I'm still working in the mountains for the band, right? Sorry, folks, forgive me. No inside shtick from now on. Just our stuff, you know what I mean?
You see Carl all the time, don't you? Carl Reiner?
Anybody have a green Dodge? Wait. Carl, I
You see all the guys from the old show? Howie Morris?
Howie Morris. How I miss him. Howie Morris is directing some of the best commercials on television, the McDonald commercial.
Does he do those?
That's Howie Morris, right. He's terrific. Howie Morris was my victim, you know. He's my... God made pigeons, he made little doves, and he made Howie Morris. And he said, they shall be called prey.
Prey?
P-R-E-Y. Yes,
Right.
They shall be called prey. And then he made wolves and foxes and tigers, and they shall be called Melvin. And I went in, the minute I saw Howie on the shows, they introduced me to him, I went for his neck. You know, I couldn't help it. He's just, you have to go for him. Anyway, I met Howie, and we went out, and we had lunch, and we were walking down in the village near McDougal Alley. I said, gee, in my mind, I said, this would be a splendid place for a robbery. Bang, I hit him. I smacked him against a yellow Buick. I said, give me your wallet, give me your ring, your watch, everything, your money. He didn't know me that well. He said, wait a minute, are you kidding? I'm not kidding, I want everything. Give me, all right. He gave me his watch, his wallet. Okay, don't hit. Gave me his wedding ring. I went back, I get a call from him, said, Howie just called me, what did you? I said, I robbed him. He said, well, I said, just tell him I'm a little nervous, not to mention it because it's liable to get me more angry. 1 month.
Don't bring it up.
For a month, he didn't bring it up. He was afraid. A month later, he said, Mel, do you remember we were walking down McDougal Alley, and you gave me a whack, you know, you hurt me, and you took my wedding ring, and I can't drive my car. I need my license. Oh, I'm sorry, Howie. Yeah, I gave him everything back. He's a cute guy. I gave everything back. 2 years later, we're rowing in Central Park Lake under a bridge. I said, this is a perfect... Pow! I hit him in the face. Right in the face. He gave me his watch, his wedding ring. He put his shoes around his leg, he walked the shore. I love him, he's a wonderful guy. I can't, he doesn't, if he's not watching this show tonight, I will rob him in 6 months.
We're coming right back. Stay there. How would you like to meet a nice girl?
I'm married, but if nobody finds out, I'll
Right.
be delighted.
Susan Blakely is here tonight. She's
very talented.
Yeah, she was a former model for magazines, television commercials, and now she is a very successful actress. She is in The Towering Inferno.
Absolutely.
And in a
Richard
picture...
Chamberlain's wife.
Right, and called Report to the Commissioner, in which he has one of the leading roles. Would you welcome, please, Susan Blakely? Don't sit on Mel.
Silly Meshuggah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the Yiddish.
Isn't he a silly man?
Silly.
Yeah.
You were very good in that picture, by the way.
Thank you.
I haven't seen the report to the commissioner, but I heard from friends I trust, Murray the Nut.
Yes.
No, really, that you are terrific in reporting.
Well, he's a good friend of mine, so that's
Murray the Nut, you know, the guy with the...
I saw a report to the commissioner, and for a moment I said, gee, that's too bad. I said, that's a very small part. You know, because they do a flashback in the thing, and it shows in the opening scene, and you're up in this loft, and all of a sudden you're shot. And I said, gee, she's a nice, talented young actress, but she didn't get much of a part there. Then all of a sudden it's a flashback, of course, and you're in the entire picture.
Well, I was so great at being dead, wasn't I?
You die. I die nicely, also, but you die real nice. But you died with your clothes off.
That's even harder.
In that picture.
And I don't breathe at all. You don't see one breath. I always check that on that.
That's right. Did you ever see a motion picture where somebody is dying and they're standing there and they said, well, I guess we'll have to sell the ranch. And you see the guy lying. His stomach is going up and down. But you were lying face down, you see, so you couldn't really tell whether you were breathing.
I did a picture a while ago with, it was freezing outside, and I die again. I die a lot. I haven't worked much, but I'm always dying. And,
what kills you in this other picture? You were gunfire.
I get shot. It's a picture, a remake of Capone. It's called Big Al. And Ben Gazzara is Capone. And he comes over at the end. He has this long monologue where I'm supposed to be dead, and he's holding me. It was freezing outside, so if you let any air out at all, you see it, you know?
Right.
So I kept trying to so carefully let a little bit of air out at a time, and it kept going on and on, you know? So I finally buried my head. I smashed my head up against his coat.
Yeah. You were very good, though.
Why did they call it Big Ben?
They didn't call it Big Ben. They call it Big Al.
But, oh, Big Al is about Al Capone.
Yes.
And Big Ben would have been about the clock.
Right. About a crooked clock.
Can you see a movie about Big Ben, a clock that is part of the mafia? I don't know. All I do is chime. What I want from me? I didn't do nothing. Boom. I was there. He took some people. I did up to 4 o'clock. Then I quit. That's ludicrous. I'm sorry.
Of course it's ludicrous, and you're not sorry. You just saying that.
I just.
Somebody told me you're in what they call an army brat. Your dad has been in the military service all his life, and you went from one post to another?
I was a brat. My father was in the army, so that's what it's called.
Yeah, where'd you live?
Well, I was born in Germany, and I lived there a lot. And I lived
Wie geht es Ihnen heute Nacht?
You don't like Germans, do you?
I hate them. Oh, no, it's okay. I only hate Nazis, and only in black and white old 30s movies. You know?
Really?
You're really.
You have to limit it.
I mean, a kid is a kid. What are you going to, again, yell at a kid, you know what I mean?
I know. I came back from Germany, and I didn't know. I used to mix up my words. I didn't know which was German.
What did he say
and
to
which
you?
was English.
Did he say anything at all?
Who?
Mel.
No. But I
said, wie
read...
geht es Ihnen heute Nacht?
Oh, yes. He said, well, how are you this evening, or whatever. I remember a little of it. But I remember a kid drawing... They were going to play war.
I also know Heil Hitler.
No.
They were going to play war. Go ahead.
And...
Yes.
Go.
And they said, no, some kid drew in the dirt in the playground a swastika, which I had never seen. I didn't know anything about it when I was in Germany. I was so young. And he said, we're going to play war. We're the Americans, and you're this thing, this sign. I didn't know what it was, you know, but all I knew, I was the only one, and they were all on the other side, you know. That was like, it's just that's sad.
So you were born in Germany?
Yeah.
But you automatically had your American citizenship
Yes, I
there
was an
because your
army
father
brat,
was.
right.
Then you came back and got into commercials. Was that the first thing you did? Modeling?
Modeling commercials.
How old were you when you came back to the States?
10, but I came back in between. When
So that's a serious language problem. You probably knew as much German as English. I mean, you know, to use...
No, I came back in between for about 4 or 5 years. I went back, and I forgot German very quickly when I found out how the Americans felt about the Germans.
Where is your basic family? I mean, what part of the States?
Now?
You know, I'm sorry, John. I have no intentions of taking over.
No, I'm going to catch a nap anyway here. But no, you're doing a great thing.
No, but tell us. Just tell us.
I was just going to ask that myself. How old were you when you came back here? And that's a terrible trauma, being 10 and coming back here.
Do you mean where was my family from?
Yes, where were your family from?
Talk to him. Talk to him.
They originally came from here.
My father was an orphan who grew up in the Midwest on different farms, and my mother grew up on a farm in St. Joseph, Missouri. So the real Midwesterners.
Yeah.
Do you have any brothers or sisters?
Do you have any brothers and sisters? That was next. I usually go right to uncles and aunts, but I ask about uncles first.
Let's do it in
when you
harmony.
do this show.
Let's do it in harmony. Do you have any brothers?
You have to do it right above. You're gonna play.
Brothers and sisters.
Are you gonna be
Do you
top
have any
harmony?
brothers? I'll
All
take
right.
the top.
Okay, I have one brother.
Do you
One,
have
two, three.
Do you have any brothers and sisters? You see, it's kind of a.
We do that in harmony.
It's called
As a matter
Mr.
of
Harmony.
fact.
Yes.
Harry Harmony.
Harry Harmony, how are you?
How are you? How are you?
My brother's waiting for this answer in Hawaii.
Yeah.
I have one brother.
One brother.
But it's enough because he's 6'10". I have a gigantic
you're kidding.
family.
6'10". You're very tall yourself, aren't you?
No, I'm not that tall.
You're not. I know you're not 6'10",
No.
but I mean you're tall for a girl,
Well,
or for a
some
tree.
girls, not for other girls.
No, you're about 5'8", 5'8 and a half.
About.
5'8" nice.
What were some of the commercials you did? Did you enjoy doing commercials?
You don't watch me in between? You haven't watched me for years. For 6 years, I've been doing commercials. Does anyone here recognize me? I've done a few hundred commercials. I sold everything. Do you?
Murray the Nut, that's the guy.
Yes, Crazy Murray. What kind of products? Just everything?
Anything. Everything.
You did a motorcycle commercial once, somebody told me.
Yes. Oh, they told you about that.
Yeah.
That's because I lied. I thought that they said, "Can you ride a motorcycle? You got the commercial if you can really ride a motorcycle very well."
And so you said yes.
I said sure because I thought I had a week.
You should always do that. You know, always say
do
yes.
that, That's right. I'm a very good comedian, by the way.
Flying trapeze, yes.
Right. Anything. I can do it. But I thought I could learn, and the thing was, it was too complicated. You had to get a permit to learn and so forth, so I didn't have time. And I get to the commercial, and there's all these things with the gear shifts and this and that, and I try and get the guy who's got the motorcycles to tell me very quickly what to do. And I wasn't too good on it, but we came zooming down a hill, and I went over a bump, and I went flying in the air, and I only got the handbrake. And if you don't get the foot brake,
Connected
just
to the
the
thigh
front
bone.
wheel stops.
Right.
So I went flying over the front, and I really went flying over. But I had a director who was really very sweet and so forth, and he said, "Get back up there, the sun's going down." So I went zooming back up, and I didn't have time to get really scared. I had a lot of things like that in commercials.
Yeah, but motorcycle, that's dangerous.
Well, it was and it wasn't. The guy I was working with, he had the little one, the 100cc or whatever. He'd been speeding for years, but he was on the different one.
Yeah.
I had the 350, whichever, which seemed pretty big.
I know nothing about motorcycles.
I don't either. That's it. I'm just throwing out words,
Yeah.
numbers.
I'm not going to help.
What's next, Mel? Come on.
No, I don't want to interfere.
You're not interfering. This is fun this way.
This is Susan Spot. This is Susan Spot.
No, this is Susan
She's gonna-
Blakely.
Oh, sorry. Spot, back. Now, but may I ask you some more questions? Huh?
Tom.
On 2 hard-boiled eggs. Now, may I ask you some
Certainly.
questions? Yeah. What do you think of me?
You know, when I first heard of you, I didn't know who you were before I saw the producers, which I really loved. My husband used to take the ferry out to Fire Island on Fridays.
Hold it. No. Do me a favor.
No, I won't.
Do me a
Are you
favor.
from the Midwest?
Yes.
Yeah, well, we say ferry. Go ahead, keep going.
Ferry. And he said that there used to be this crazy wonderful guy who would make jokes and sing and do things to keep them entertained the whole way out.
It was 3:20 from one side to the other. If you entertained the folks on the ferry, it was nothing. So I used to work for 3:20. I ladies and germs.
Did you really?
And I used to work the ferry.
No.
I love to work the ferry.
That's not
No. But I was loose and crazy in my Fire Island days. I was.
Yes.
I had a little appetizing store. You know that everybody on Fire Island has a penchant for garbage. They'll eat anything. So I opened this little store, and we had chicken wings and plucked tongues. It was wonderful. Just wonderful. We sold everything with raisins in it. You know what I mean? Everything had a raisin in it.
Raisinets.
Yes, meatballs with raisins. Everything with raisins. We didn't make one thing that didn't have a raisin in it. I made over $50 a year. Yeah, so your husband knew me from Fire Island.
Uh-huh.
What does he do? Is he in our business? What is your husband?
He's a writer.
He's a writer. Do I know? What's his name?
Todd.
Todd.
No.
I don't know it. Todd.
No.
Not Bernie, Murray, Lenny, or even
No,
Seymour. Todd is hard for me.
He's Jewish.
Yeah, he is?
Jewish from Brooklyn, but that's just a strange name.
You never met a
That's why I
Todd
know
before?
his Jewish
He's
name.
passing. Todd. No, but does he write serious or comedy? Or what?
He writes everything. He's very good at comedy.
He's a ubiquitous writer. Very good.
I
Good
don't know what
word.
that means, but
That means
that's-
being every place.
That's right.
All over.
That'll cover
Nice
it.
word. See, when you're a success, you go right and get big words. You can buy them.
When you make over 100 a week, nothing stops you.
That's right. Go down and
Nothing.
pick up to the frozen word section and get new words each week.
Now, can I?
What?
I
I have to sell something.
okay.
Then we'll come back and,
We could talk.
Can I take?
what?
No, I'll later. Can I have one for later?
Sure. Put it in the bag. We'll put it in your car.
Yeah,
We're going to be back after this message from Excedrin PM, the pain reliever that helps you get a good night's sleep. Welcome to the Mel Brooks Show. No, you know how great it is to finally get you on this show? I've been trying for
I
months and
haven't
months
been here
and
for
months.
what, 3 or 4 years?
Something like that.
Well, you know.
And you were with me the opening show I did?
Yes, the first show you ever did.
Very
Joan
first
Crawford,
show.
Groucho Marx was there.
Right? Rudy Valley.
Rudy Valley.
And you.
Yes, and me. And I think I stood on your desk and I did Tony Bennett.
That's right.
I did a lot of crazy things for you.
Yes.
But you know why? It's hard to do the show. I mean, Susan, I'm sure will, because
Well, when Susan does it, she'll find out.
Ostensibly, you're just chatting. You know what I mean? You're just chatting and you're talking and then you realize somewhere in the middle of your heart, 10 million people are watching. They're watching you. It's not alone. You're not in the living room with 2 Jews. There's a lot of people here. I think I got this right, didn't I?
That's right.
Well, son, leave it like this for now.
You know, Bob Roseski's here tonight, and I'll bet he's thrilled about that.
Yes.
Because he has a book out called The Money Book. Bob has been with us before, and he tells us things. You know what that is? That's a bad factory second of a dumbbell that didn't turn out, you know. Anyway, he has a new book called, and he's got some old books, too, but this is the new one. Bob comes on and tells you how to avoid, being taken and getting ripped off in today's society, and so forth and so on, things like that. Would you welcome Bob Roseski? A wonderful man who wants to invest. Remember the last time you were here, we talked about gold. That's before gold became legal.
Right.
And a lot of people, nobody rushed out and bought gold, did they?
No.
Yeah, the next day I went.
Yeah.
No,
right?
but nothing happened.
Nobody
Nothing
went out.
happened. Nobody bought it, and the price went down about $25 an ounce, and the public wasn't so dumb. The
We're selling about
speculators-
180 some dollars at
About
100.
200, and it went down to 173 thereabouts.
Why? Now people say why?
Because the American public proved that they weren't as gullible as the speculators thought they would be. And I'm proud of them. I think they did a good thing. They put their money into savings, and the savings are flowing in, and this will help people buy houses and cars, and I
Right.
think it'll help things turn around a little bit.
Susan bought gold.
Susan bought gold.
Yes, she bought gold.
Well, you didn't buy a
Before-
lot
My
of
Jewish
gold.
husband was very careful. Way before that, though. He was stashing it away.
Well, if you'd have bought it 10 years ago, you'd be fine.
But you couldn't, legally.
No, you bought
That's true.
coins.
Coins,
Oh,
yeah.
sure. Coins.
Coins, right.
What's the big rip-off now? Are there any rip-offs currently going?
Well, yeah, there's, with unemployment, old Snake Oil Sam comes out, and when he finds a need, he fills it, and there's some things going on that are preying on the unemployed. Schools that promise you training courses in, say, truck driving, for example.
Earn big money.
Big money.
Drive a semi. I've seen that, yeah.
Federal Trade Commission is cracking down on a number of these operations, promising great jobs if you take the training course, which costs hundreds of dollars, and then you find out that there were no jobs there in the first place. A lot of young kids get involved in these things and spend money, and then find out that the young kids can't get the jobs that are available because the truckers hire people that have had driving experience.
So there are no truck driving jobs. How about meat cutting at home? I always see in those match folders. Have you ever seen that? Learn meat cutting at home, which sounds intriguing.
Learn brain surgery. There's a lot of things you can
Yeah.
do like that. And again, these things,
Well,
you know,
that's how
they're-
Picasso started. Draw me, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah, he's... Draw this little puppy
He got
dog.
the nose wrong. He put 2 eyes on one side of it. And the guy said, hey, wait a minute. We can have fun with this. And
All started-
Pablo Picasso. That's how he started. I don't lie.
All started from a match folder.
Right, draw me.
Draw me.
Right.
Remember that.
And what about Gutenberg? The
How about-
printing press.
That's right.
It started with print me. He made a press and printed it. Every guy became a millionaire.
You don't advise people what to do with their money. You just generally say what not to get into or to be careful. and et
Well,
cetera.
I try now in the money book, for example, to give people a program of meeting their long-term goals and their short-term goals, how to budget, how to save, trying to give them something concrete that they can do their family planning with.
Yeah. Now, the stock market just had a big jump today. Now, will people say, hey, now's the time to...
Well, a lot of people, of course, the last 6 weeks or so have had a tremendous jump in the stock market, but I still maintain most vehemently that the stock market is a speculative device, not necessarily an investment device. You can't meet your long-term certain positive goals by taking chances on things. And the stock market is taking chances. I tell the story in the book of, in order to make the stock market come to life and see it for what it is, the story of the rise and fall of National Prippa Chicken Gumball, which is a company I made up, and how they get involved in things and
I would have bought into that. That sounds so good.
Terrific, terrific. But they ran it.
I think I did. You didn't make that up, did you? I put about $8 in that.
They run into, you know, things that people don't realize can happen, like there was a chickle pickers strike down in some banana republic, and the stock goes down, and then the strike was over and it goes up, and then their competitors, Amalgamated Sweetness, comes out with a low-calorie gumball, and the stock goes down, and the low-calorie gumball doesn't make it. So, you know, but just trying to show people, because people have money in the market, whether they realize it or not. You may not have a direct investment in the market, but your pension fund is invested in the market. Your life insurance company probably has some money in the market, and you're affected by all these things. So I want to try to make it, people see it for what it is, and that is a speculative type vehicle. I'm not saying don't get in.
Yeah.
There are certain times and places when you should.
But you're not much fun when people come with a tip. People always come and say, want to tell you about this.
Canadian vanadium.
Yes. I went in a uranium mine years ago, because a very close friend of mine comes and says, you got to get in on these stocks. They're like a penny a stock. And you know what happened to those?
Yeah, well, by the time you get a tip, 17 insiders up the road have already had it first and made their money on it. That doesn't mean to say you might not. You might, but it's a chance. It's a crapshoot.
If it's that good, why does somebody tell somebody else? I've never understood that.
Well,
to buoy up the stock, obviously, right?
Yeah, it's to boost the stock if it's from the company inside.
Sometimes you have a very bright stockbroker. He puts a lot of customers, he puts a lot of his customers into a stock. He gets a lot of other customers meant to put a lot of their customers into the same stock, and then he'll take his own money and take a little ride for 3 days, and then he'll get out, and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, and he makes commissions along the way.
But sometimes, like you say, I had a stock a couple of years ago, 20 years ago, that did great.
Right. What was the name of that?
American Jew. No, I don't want to. No, but I would really like to find out, sir, what if somebody were to invest in anything, what should he invest? Or do we have to buy the book?
No. To meet your long-term goals, I think that the fixed income securities, such as savings accounts, over the long pull, are going to get you where you want to get to at the time you want to get there.
Invest in air.
Why it's always going up? What
air and water.
There's always going to be a...
Young singer.
Shallow mouthpiece to get to those high notes. Don't tell me different.
Holly Lippin, who's supposed to be with us tonight, will be with us soon again. She opens at the Playboy Club in San Francisco on February the 17th, and she'll be back with us when she can. And if people want to find out what we were talking about tonight, they can read the Money Book, right?
Right.
Which tells you how to get it all together and answers all of your questions.
I'm appearing at apartment 4A.
That's right.
In the Valley.
Bring your own...
Right near Whittier. I'd like you to all come up.
Take the Whittier off-ramp.
C&R Clothiers will tell you how to get to me.
Thank you. Good night. I'm humbled by that applause.
Xin chào tất cả mọi người. Và hôm nay bên em lại về một chiếc xe Hyundai Accent, xe sản xuất 2018 bản 1.4 số tự động, phiên bản màu đen. Accent là một trong những dòng của Hyundai bán rất là chạy, phân khúc hạng B, cạnh tranh trực tiếp với Vios, và là một trong những dòng mà tôi đánh giá là form dáng cũng rất là đẹp, giá cả phải chăng. Con xe này thì số tự động, phụ nữ hay đàn ông đều đi được. Đấy. Tuy nhiên chiếc xe này thì giá rẻ ra thị trường mấy chục triệu, bởi vì là nó cũng bị hơi bị bao quẹt một chút. Tuy nhiên là trước khi em báo giá thì em sẽ quay tổng thể chiếc xe. Xe màu đen sơn si còn tầm 90%. Tay nắm cửa mạ chrome này, 4 bánh còn chạy dài dài và phanh đều là phanh ABS, lốp la răng rất là ok. Và bên em còn rất nhiều các dòng xe khác nữa. Tuy nhiên là hiện tại thì em đang quay con Ascent 2018. Đấy. 1.4 thì cũng không ăn quá nhiều xăng. Vì vậy là với tình trạng mà xăng đắt như này thì cũng yên tâm. Đấy, đèn hậu rất là đẹp và thể thao. Đấy, nói chung là các bạn cân nhắc xem. Một mức giá rất là phải chăng thôi, 340 triệu. Đấy, nên vì vậy là ai mua thì có thể liên hệ. Lại đèn trước rất là sáng và đẹp nhé. Có dải đèn nét ở xung quanh, đèn bi ở giữa. Đây, mạ chrome rất là đẹp. Mặt ca lăng. Đấy, em sẽ quay nội thất cho mọi người cùng xem. Bây giờ là hàng ghế trước nhé. Đây mọi người có thể thấy là vô lăng, cần số da ghế còn rất là mới. Và ai mua tặng combo một cái gói G7 đi tích hợp kem nồi. Hàng ghế sau cũng da ghế rất là mới nhá. Đấy. Đấy là xe này chỉ có vậy thôi. Một mức giá rất là phải chăng vì nó đã bị va quẹt ở phần đầu. Mức giá của em nó là 340 triệu. Đây, tổng thể chiếc xe. Và em tí em sẽ quay phần máy. Nói chung quay cũng khó nhìn á. Mọi người phải đến trực tiếp xem phần máy móc để biết thêm chi tiết. Đấy. Nói chung xe còn rất là đẹp. Về che mưa nước đầy đủ. Xi nhan tích hợp ở chân gương. Vì vậy ai mua thì liên hệ sớm. Còn em Ghim đã bán thì là xe không còn nữa đâu mọi người nhé. Đấy. Em quay rất là chi tiết rồi. Tuy nhiên là nhìn trong video có thể không giống. Một thực tế, tại vì là cứ phải thực tế, cái gì cũng phải thực tế cơ mọi người nhé. Vì vậy là ai mua cứ phải liên hệ trực tiếp và thực tế. Đấy, em quay rất là chi tiết rồi. Xe thì Phú Hoàng B ASEAN. Bây giờ thì nói chung là cái phương tiện ô tô nó là phương tiện nói chung là rất là phổ thông. Với một con giá rẻ như này thì mọi người lên mua về để đi thôi. 340 triệu. Đấy. Mức giá này tôi nghĩ là rất là phù hợp và không mặc cả nhé. Giá này thì bao gồm rút hồ sơ và không giảm giá. Không phải như các salon khác là bớt. Salon bên em thì là giá đã báo đúng giá rồi. Vì vậy ai mua liên hệ sớm với em. Em ghi phần bình luận đã bán là không còn nữa. Xin chào mọi người.